Good morning, beloveds. So, I've been on about being gentle with yourself. I've been on about self-care, and it hit yesterday. It hit yesterday. Just in the last 3 months, there's been a lot going on. It's been, yeah. And I got to work yesterday, and I just realized I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't be on that sales floor all day and pretend to be okay. I got my orders done, and they showed up. The owner showed up about 11:30, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I'm going to be no good to you on the sales floor today. And they let me go home. And I came home, and I laid down on the couch, and I snuggled with my cats, and I took a 2-hour nap. And then I woke up, and I watched 3 Christmas movies, 3 Hallmark Christmas movies. And, ate a bowl of soup for lunch, and I woke up, and then I went to bed early too last night, and I woke up so much better this morning. So, when you hit your point, you gotta do it. You gotta sacrifice what you gotta sacrifice. And, I couldn't. And so, and I'm not going to beat myself up about that. And I'm not, because I needed it. And that's what self-care is. Self-care is, when you can't push anymore, then you got to stop. You got to stop. Ideally, self-care means you never get to that point. But there's been a lot. There's been a lot going on in the last 3 months. And so I pushed through on Monday because I had to, but I couldn't do it yesterday, and I didn't have to, and so I didn't. So it's really important that you do the self-care, and ideally not get to the place that I got to yesterday. But when it happens, stop and take care of yourself. It's very, very, very important. All right. So it is December 8th. Our title is God's Mind in Me is Clear and Definite. And our quote is, "In all things ye have approved yourselves to be clear in this matter." And that is 2 Corinthians 7:11. "I always make right decisions, for within me is that which knows. The revelations of truth have come to others, so they now come to me." Eternal mind is not restricted to a time, an era, nor a certain religion. The infinite, which releases itself through the great people of all times, now releases itself through me. All that the wise have known, I can know. All that the great have accomplished, I can accomplish too. I, too, am an outlet for the divine mind and divine love. I accept this interior gift of the ages, and I let it determine my life this day. God's mind in me is clear and definite. To me is given the knowledge to handle every situation this day may bring. Omniscience is mine. Guided by a perfect mind, I make right decisions and accomplish with ease. Life abundant offers itself to me, and I accept it. The wisdom I need for greatness is already within me and seeks me as its outlet. I affirm divine wisdom. I affirm divine intelligence. I affirm my own capacity for success. No more hazy thinking, no more foggy questioning. I know what needs to be done, and I know how to do it. The cobwebs of confused thinking are swept out of my consciousness. Life is plain, clear, and direct. As I think, infinite mind thinks as me. As I create, the one mind is creating through me. I am one with God and with all of God's clear ideas. Today, my thinking is positive. Demonstrations of every kind appear in my experience in the next few hours. This treatment guarantees my health, happiness, and security. My thinking of God assures me of perfect action this day. Dwelling upon God's wisdom, I am wise. Dwelling upon God's life, I am healthy. I know what I want to accomplish, and I proceed to accomplish it. My thinking is straight, my intentions are right, and my procedure is scientific. I know God wants me to be successful this day. I know that all God's mind and all God's love are revealing themselves to me now. Led by this inner divine compulsion, I accomplish far more than even I expect. It is good to know God, whose ways I walk with certainty. All right. The one line that jumped out at me the most, the infinite mind, which released itself through the great people of all times, now releases itself through me. Where is it? I guess it was the line. Oh, there it is. Eternal mind is not restricted to a time, an era, or a certain religion. Eternal mind. Because the very nature of eternal mind is forever. It has always been, it will always be. No particular time, no particular era, no particular religion has a lock on the eternal mind. What happens is that we get teachers who show up and say, hey, have you noticed this? The one that we're the most familiar with is obviously Jesus. Jesus showed up and went, hey, have you noticed this? If you do it this way, it works better. And that's what Ernest went, wait a minute. Jesus prays in a certain way. Jesus recognized who he was and unified with who he was, and was very successful at what he did. And then Jesus said to his followers, you know what? You can do this too. This is how you do it. And his followers were like, well, but... So the eternal mind and spirit or God or whatever word you want to use isn't limited to. They're not limited to a time, an era, a religion. Space and time means nothing to the eternal mind. Nothing at all. We use it because it helps us manage our lives. But to the eternal mind, nothing. So everything that Jesus taught, we can do. Everything that the Buddha, any one of the Buddhas taught. Sun Tzu, Lao Zhang, Rumi, Muhammad, Hafiz. I'm trying to think, there's another one that I can't think of right off Ernest Holmes. They're teachers who showed up and said, have you noticed this? And that was their job. And what all of them said is this love, this mind, it doesn't exist just here. It doesn't exist just now. It always has, it always will. It's not bound by time and space. Which is why Jesus' message is still relevant today. So, God's mind in me is clear and definite. It is. So, it's the use that I make of it. In all things ye have approved yourselves to be clear in this matter. Know who you are. That's 2 Corinthians 7:11. Please go back, look it up, read a few before, read a few after. Figure out what it is. And he starts out by saying, I always make right decisions, for within me is that which knows. It's like, trust. If you have been doing your spiritual work, you will make the right choice. The revelations of truth have come to others, so they now come to me. The eternal mind is not restricted to a time, an era, nor a certain religion. We all have access to it. It's the use we make of it that's important. The infinite, which released itself through the great people of all times, now releases itself through me. The same mind that the prophets used, the same mind that Jesus used, the same mind that all of the Buddhas have used, the same mind that the Dalai Lama uses, the same mind that the Pope uses. you know? The Pope is only infallible when he's sitting on the throne speaking the words of God. Other than that, he's a normal man. But he's using the same mind that we all are when he's sitting on that throne, because he has set aside that space as sacred. He has set aside that time. He clears his mind. He clears his consciousness when he goes to sit on that throne, you know, so that he is in full contact with that mind rather than the minimal contact that we can have day to day, because we're always in contact with it. It's the spiritual practice that brings us into the full fruition of that contact. Like, we're always using it. All that the wise have known, I can know. All that the great have accomplished, I can accomplish. Because I have access to the same mind that they did. I, too, am an outlet for the divine mind and divine love. I accept this interior gift of the ages, and that's super important, to accept that you have access to it. And I let it determine my life this day. Meaning, and it doesn't mean you just let what happened happens. You accept the guidance that you're going to get. God's mind in me is clear and definite. To me is given the knowledge to handle every situation this day may bring. Omniscience is mine. But it means we have to be willing. That's the point of spiritual practice. It opens us up and makes us willing. It's a habit that we create. Guided by the perfect mind, I make right decisions and accomplish with ease. Life abundant offers itself to me and I accept it. There it is again. Acceptance is very important. That's why we have to ask for what we want, because the asking signals our acceptance. And if not a complete acceptance, at least the beginning of our acceptance. The wisdom I need for greatness is already within me and seeks me as its outlet. I affirm divine wisdom. I affirm divine intelligence. I affirm my own capacity for success. For it to work, you have to be willing to affirm it for yourself. It's great to go to practitioners, and it's great to go to ministers, and it's great to go to people that love you and have them affirm it for you. But they can only hold the space for you until you are willing to affirm it for yourself. All right? You got to play a part in this too. No more hazy thinking. No more foggy questioning. He didn't say no more questioning. We're still welcome to ask questions, just no more foggy questions. We're gonna ask sharp, concise, clear questions now. I know what needs to be done, and I know how to do it. The cobwebs of confused thinking are swept out of my consciousness. Life is plain, clear, and direct. And that is that's a statement, because I know you look around and life is messy and foggy and, chaotic. And when you face that, then you look at it and you go, life is plain, clear, and direct. And then you watch a whole lot of that nonsense go away, because you're not going to put up with it. You're going to see through the conditions to the truth behind it. And you'll know what to do. As I think, infinite mind thinks as me. As I create, the one mind is creating through me. I am one with God and with all of God's clear ideas. Today, my thinking is positive. Yeah, December's are long ones. Demonstration of every kind appears in my experience in the next few hours. I mean, why not? This treatment guarantees my health, happiness, and security. My thinking of God assures me of perfect action this day, because we're thinking of God as God. It's like, let's not think on the human level. Let's go ahead and elevate up and think from that spiritual level that knows only yes, knows only creation, knows only joy. Dwelling upon God's wisdom, I am wise. Dwelling upon God's life, I am healthy. dwelling upon God's wisdom, when we're dwelling on it, that goes back to the attention. Where our attention goes is where our power goes. So dwelling upon God's life, dwelling upon God's wisdom, that's where our attention goes. So that's what's coming to us. I am healthy. I know what I want to accomplish, and I proceed to accomplish it. My thinking is straight, my intentions are right, and my procedure is scientific, because I have done my work. I know God wants me to be successful. I know that all of Spirit's mind and all of Spirit's love are revealing themselves to me right now, because they are revealing themselves through me. Led by this inner divine compulsion, that guidance, I accomplish far more than even I expect. That's where we get the highest and best. Sometimes we don't know what to treat for. So all we can do is treat for the highest and best. Sometimes we know what we want. So we speak that word and then we say, I'm the highest and the best. Because sometimes what we're treating for is too small. And if we are open to it, Spirit will bring us something bigger. It is good to know Spirit, whose ways I walk with certainty. And that's spiritual practice. All right. I'm sure that you heard the mission for today. The mission for today, should we choose to accept it, is to affirm divine wisdom, to affirm divine intelligence, and to affirm our own capacity for success. To affirm that we have access to the wisdom and the love and the intelligence and the abundance and the creativity to do whatever it is, because the eternal mind knows no time, no space, no era, no religion. It is available to all. Which means it is available to you right here, right now, right where we are. All right, beloveds. I got to be into work a little early because we got a training that starts at 10. So I am going to, as I always do, encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, do something kind for yourself. That's what I did yesterday when I realized I couldn't handle it. I didn't. I set it aside. There were other people to pick it up. And sometimes that's what we need to do. Sometimes we can't carry the load. And we set it aside because there are other people to carry it. So sometimes the most kind thing, the most loving thing, the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself is to set the load aside and let someone else carry it. All right? Even if it's only for a day. Even if it's only for a day. All right, beloveds. I also encourage you to engage your mind and your body today. I encourage you to, I would say get plenty of sun, but there's no sun today. So, whatever it is. And I do encourage you, as always, to drink plenty of water. Please. Whatever else you do. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around us. What it asks of us is to look for the good and to praise it. The more we look, the more we see, the more is created. I mean, the very act of looking for good creates good. Emma was right. So look for the good and praise it. All right, beloveds. It's Wednesday. The Living the Science of Mind book study is today, so I encourage you to check that out. Email info@creativelife.org if you're interested in that. Or anything else that might be going on, especially if you're watching this at a later date, then it's not Wednesday, December 8th. There's almost always something going on, and Zoom has made that much easier. So, check us out on the social medias. We're on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram and Facebook, obviously. I'm the Running Rev Ryan, and we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. So whatever else you do, have a great day, an amazing day, a fantastic day. a restful day, a compassionate day, a kind day, a loving day, an amazing day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. But whatever else you do, know that you are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. Know that you're loved. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you, although I did see him at 8 o'clock last night, so, take that for what it is. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.